Hello, in this video, I want to go through all the cards that I would include if I was going to build the Cabbage Merchant from Avatar: The Last Airbender. First up, I would definitely include Academy Manufacturer for 3 colors. It's a 1/3. If you would create a food, a clue, or a treasure, instead create one of each. And of course, our commander makes a food when an opponent casts a non-creature spell. Whenever a creature does come damage to you, sacrifice the food. Tap 2 foods to add 1 mana of any color. So this can give us access to food, and clues, and tokens, treasure tokens. Beast Within, we're playing mono green, we gotta have removal. Bristlebud Farmer for 2 green, it's a 5/5 trample. When it enters, make 2 food. When it attacks, you can sack a food to mill 3, and we put a permanent card from among those into your hand. So you can sacrifice your foods to essentially draw cards, only if they're permanents, but a 4 mana trampling 5/5 that makes 2 food, which you can immediately tap for a mana, is nice. Campsite and Cuisine, 2 mana for enchantment. When this enchantment or a legendary creature you control enters, make a food. Whenever you attack, you may sacrifice X foods. When you do, up to X target attacking creatures each get +3/+3 and gain trample and indestructible until end of turn. Great use of your cabbages, great use of your foods. Keeps triggering as you just play your deck and play other legends. There's plenty of legends we're going to play, so good card. Critter Hoof Behemoth. You need a way to end the game. Tapping your foods to get your big mana spells is what you're going to want to do. This costs, what, 14 treasures? Tap them, you can slam this into play and win the game off a bit with a lot of creatures. Cultivate, gonna need to ramp. Basically, it just gets you 2 basic forests, but you played 1 color and ramping is super powerful, especially when you're just playing like 1 color, especially green. Displaced Dinosaurs, 7 mana, 7/7. As a historic permanent enters under your control, becomes a 7/7 dinosaur. Now all of your foods are dinosaurs, which is insane. Doubling Season, 1 or more tokens, double it, 1 or more counters, double it. So now not only do you get 1 food, you get 2 foods, which is enough to tap to make the mana. Elnor Gardener, 3 and a green, 2/4. When it enters, make a food at the beginning of your end step. If you sack the food this turn, you may search your library for a basic land card, put on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Unfortunately, this only works on your turn. Elvish Mystic, need a ramp. Emerald Medallion, great card in this deck because all of our spells are either green or colorless, so we will be double spelling, which makes the medallions very good. Eternal Witness, we get something back from your hand. Maybe you lost an enchantment, Doubling Season, or something else you like. Fangren Marauder, whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may gain 5 life. Every single time a creature deals common damage, you sack a flu token. That damage, you gain 5 life back. Sacrificing food, sacrificing artifacts, sacrificing treasures, just things the table is wanting to do. You're going to gain a lot of life off this card. Plus, you have foods if you're sacrificing them to have any kind of life gain effects in the deck. That's good there too. Feasting Hobbit, green 1/2/2, devour food 3. As it enters, you may sacrifice any number of foods. You put 3++ counters on it for each food sack this way. Creatures with power less than it can't block it. Feasting Troll King, 2 feasting cards. 2 green. Vigilance Trample. It enters. If you cast from your hand, create 3 foods, sack 3 foods to return it from the graveyard to the battlefield only during your turn. You're going to be able to do this any turn that it dies with the number of foods you're going to make in this deck. Fog, prevent all combat damage. A little bit of a non-bow, where like you will have to sacrifice a bunch of your foods, but if you want to protect your cabbages, Fog's a great card to do that. Giant Opportunity, sack 2 foods to make a 7/7 giant, or make 3 foods. Gilded Goose enters, makes a food, sacrifices foods to add mana. Gourmand's Talent, 1 green during your turn. Artifacts you control are foods in addition to the other types and have 2 taps sack this artifact. It becomes foods. Whenever you gain life for the first time each turn, make a raccoon. Whenever you gain life for the first time, but it also must counter each creature you control. This is like the best talent for this deck. I really like it. Harmonize, draw cards. Heat Harvest, when it enters and when you sacrifice it, you may search your library for a basic line card, put onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. So it's ramp on food, which is on theme, which is fantastic. Protect your stuff with Heroic Intervention. Honored Dray Leader, 2 and a green for a 1/1 trample. When it enters, put a ++ counter on it for each other squirrel and or food you control. Whenever another squirrel or food enters, put a ++ counter on it. Really focus on those foods, not on those squirrels. Hot Dog Cart, artifact for 3 colors. When it enters, make a food, tap for add 1 mana of any color. This is your 3 mana, manaless tile effect that just happens to make a food. And it would be Hot Dog. Cabbage's Hot Dogs. Idol of Oblivion, 2 colors for an artifact, tap, draw a card, activate only if you made a token this turn. 8, sacrifice it, create a 10/10 colorless Eldrazi creature token. Any turn that an opponent casts a non-creature spell is a turn that we make a food, which is a token that we can draw a card. Inspiring Statuary, non-artifact spells you cast have improvise. You know, our food, you can already tap 2 foods for 1 mana of any color. Now you can tap foods to cast the color as part of spells, which is really nice. Jahira, Friend of the Forest. 2 and a green. Tokens you control have tap, add green. Now all of your foods literally just tap for green, which is great. Killer Service, 2 green enchantment. When it enters, create a number of foods equal to the number of opponents you have. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 2 and sack a token. If you do, make 4/4. End of each of your turns, tap some food to get some mana. Sacrifice one of your tapped foods to make a rhino. Crack Clan Ironworks. Sack an artifacts, add 2 mana of any color. Great. Lembas, 2 colors for an artifact food. When it enters, scry 1, then draw 1. And then you can sacrifice it away because it's food. And then whenever it's going to the graveyard, you shuffle it back into your library. Lanorel, Salvage Mystics, better half. Many Partings. 1 green, search your library for a basic land card and reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle, create a food token. No, my cabbages. Nature's Claim, destroy things for cheap. Nature's Lore, get yourself forests. It is really nice because there are non-basic forests that have abilities that Nature's Lore can go grab, even in this deck. Usually Nature's Lore goes and grabs you a Triome or a Shockland or a tapped dual land or something. But Nature's Lore can go get you your forests that are non-basic lands, which is nice. Knight of the Sweet's Revenge, 3 and a green. When it enters, create a food. Food you have tap, add green. 7, sack it. Creature can token +X extra. X is the number of foods you control. Great card at this deck. Nuka-Cola Vending Machine, 3 colors on artifact. 1 tap, make a food. When you sack a food, make a tapped treasure. Fantastic. And then of course you can a cabin manufacturer, when you create a food, when you create that treasure, it gives you another food, another clue, so you can get a cycle going. Obscuring Haze, if you control a command, you may cast a spell without paying mana cost, prevents all damage to be dealt this turn by creatures your opponents control. So you don't want to just sacrifice your foods. Parallel Lied, 3 and a green. If an effect would put 1 or more tokens on the battlefield under your control, it puts twice the many instead. Paw Patch Formation, for 1 and a green. Destroy target creature with flying, destroy target enchantment, or draw a card to make food. So it's removal on a stick that can just be on thing. Peregrine Took, 2 and a green. If 1 or more tokens to be created under your control, that many plus an additional food are created. Sack 3 foods, draw a card. And then of course you can sacrifice your tapped foods if you already used them for mana that turn. You can sack them to draw cards. Provisions Merchant, 2 and a green for a 3/3 when it enters, make a food. Whenever it attacks, you may sack a food. If you do, attacking creatures, you get +1/+1 and gain trample until end of turn. Giving cards trample is super good. Hugh Gourmet. 2 and a green for a 2/3. If 1 or more tokens to be created in your control, make that many plus a frog. 2 sack a frog, put a ++ counter on it. Rampage of the Clans, 3 and a green. Destroy all artifacts and enchantments. For each permanent destroyed this way, its controller creates a 3/3 Senatoy creature token. This is an instant. So at the end of the player's before yours, at the end of the player's turn that sits to your right, so it would be your turn next, you cast this, destroy your 10 foods, now you have 10 3/3s. You can probably take out a player with that, and you might even have more foods than that. Rampant Growth, need a ramp. Revive the Shire. For 1 and a green, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand to create a food token. Sarenth Steel Seeker, 1 and a green. Whenever an artifact enters under your control, look at the top card of the library. If it's a land card, you may reveal and put it into your hand. If you don't put the card into your hand, you may put it into your graveyard. Second Harvest, for each token you control, make a token copy, so now you double all your foods. Spider Food, 2 and a green, destroy up to 1 target artifact, enchantment, or creature that's flying, create food. You know, all these things are just do what the card wants to do and then make a food, which is just something you want to happen because you want to be playing the game while triggering your stuff. If you're only triggering your stuff and just like, oh, making foods and doing this and doing that, and not responding to the board and putting things on the board, and you're just so focused on building up your infrastructure, you have to do other things than just build infrastructure. So building up the infrastructure of doubling your tokens is not great if you're not making tokens at the same time. Stew the Conies. I'm 2 and a green instant. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power. Target creature you don't control, make a food. I've never seen this card before I started making this deck list. You know, I've never seen that art before. But that's because it's way overcosted. But it makes you a food. Stride Hanger Automation, 3, 1, 4. Thopters you control get +1/+1. If 1 or more artifact tokens will be created under your control, put that many plus additional 1/1 Thopter with flying instead. Fantastic. Now you have flying blockers, which are great. Sir Ginger, the Meal Ender, 2 colors, fake 3/1. A lot of words on this card. Legendary artifact creature, food at night. It has trample, hexproof, and haste. As long as an opponent controls a planeswalker, whenever another artifact you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, put a +++ counter on. And then, of course, you could sack it to gain Life Steal Toys power, which is 3, which counts as a food. Teething Wormlet, 1 green for a 1/1. It has Death Touch as long as you control 3 or more artifacts. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under you control, you may gain 1 life. If it's the first time the ability is relevant this turn, put a ++ counter on it. One of those cards you play early in the game, and it just gets bigger as the game goes on. And then in the late game, it's just a death-touching creature you can sacrifice whenever a commander attacks you. And by sacrifice, I mean just put in the way of. Tireless Provisioner, 2 and a green, 3/2. When a land enters, make a food or a treasure. Great. Now, just casting lands or adding foods, which is triggering all of our stuff. Tough Cookie, 2 mana, 2/2. When it enters, make a food. 3, target non-creature artifact, aka food. You control becomes a 4/4 artifact, and then of course you can sack it because it's food. Trail of Crumbs, 1 and a green. When it enters, make a food. When you sack a food, you may pay 1. If you do, look at the top 2 cards of your library. You may build a permanent card from among them, put into your hand, put the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. Now, whenever you sacrifice your foods to any of your effects, you're getting value. Transmutation Font, make your choice of a blood token, a clue token, or a food token. 3 tap, sacrifice 3 artifact tokens for names. Search your library for an artifact card, put it into the battlefield, then shuffle, activate only the sorcery. You'd have to add something to the deck, some big, powerful artifact. But this is a good card, Unlucky Cabbage Merchant. 1 and a green for a 2/2. When it enters, make a food. Whenever you sacrifice a food, you may search the library for a basic line card, put on the battlefield tapped. If you search the library this way, play a creature on the bottom of Hunter's library. Put this creature on the bottom of Hunter's library, then shuffle. I still think it's a good card. It enters and makes a food. It's a creature that enters. It can block, and then you can sacrifice the food once it's blocking and search the library for a land. Good stuff. Welcome to Sweet Tooth. 1 and a green, make a food, and then make a human, then make a food. Then, once it hits 3, put X plus moves and counters into a creature you control, where X is 1 plus the number of foods you control. Does a lot of things for only 2 mana. Whipped Wolf. 2 green, 3/3. When it enters, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. Sack a food, put a ++ counter on it. It gains indestructible until end of turn, and then you tap it. So it fights, sacrifice your foods, put counters on it. You can keep stacking those. You can get I'm going to kill that 5/5. I'm going to sacrifice 3 of my foods. Witch's Oven, 1 for 1 tap, sack creature, create a food token. Sacrifice creature toughness of 4 or greater, create 2 food tokens. Now, unfortunately, this is a mono green commander, so we can't have the cat to go with the oven, but still good. Useju, Who Endures, it's just better than a forest. We're going to play plenty of forests on our deck. Fountain Port, it adds a colorless. We're playing 1 color, so we can afford to get colorless lands. 2, tap, sack a token, draw a card. That's the part that I care about. I care about the fact that you can trade in your foods to draw cards. You can make treasures if you need them, fishes if you need them. Gingerbread Cabin, here's a forest. It enters, tap, list, control 3 or more forests. Guess what? 80% of our lands are going to be forests. When it enters untapped, make a food token. Inventor's Fair, we have plenty of artifacts. We have plenty of food, so we can sacrifice it pretty easily to go get an artifact card. Mix those, trying to mix. We're playing 1 color, so at worst, it's a land that taps for colorless that comes into play on taps. And at best, your devotion's pretty high. Reliquary Tower, no max hand size. The Shire, it enters tapped unless you control a legendary creature. Tap out a green, 2 taps, tap an untapped creature you control to make a food. War Room, draw cards for only 1 life. Those are all the cards that I would include if I was going to build the Cabbage Merchant. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What cards did you add? What do you think of my deck, Ted? Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and may your top decks be ever in your favor. Thank you.